This video will cover occupational accidents, including their cause and effect, statistics, epidemiology, occupational safety, and compensation. Accidents happen for many reasons. Industries often blame things rather than looking for the underlying causes. We should always consider the underlying accident causes. Have your attitudes or behaviors put you at risk? If so, you may have not been injured yet, but next time you may not be so lucky. Common causes of occupational accidents include taking shortcuts, being overconfident, starting a task with incomplete instructions, and poor housekeeping. Other causes are ignoring safety procedures, mental distractions, and failure to pre-plan the work. We constantly make decisions for faster, more efficient work. But do your time savers ever risk your safety or that of your crew members? Shortcuts that reduce safety are not time savers, but an increased chance of injury. Confidence is beneficial, but overconfidence is too much of a good thing. The attitude, "it'll never happen to me," can lead to improper procedures, tools, or methods, which in turn can lead to injury. Complete information is essential for doing a job safely and correctly the first time. Have you ever been sent to do a job with only partial instructions? Don't hesitate to ask for explanations about work procedures and safety precautions. It is not unwise to ask questions. It is unwise not to. Housekeeping is an accurate indicator of attitudes toward quality, production, and safety. Poor housekeeping creates various hazards. A well-maintained area sets a positive standard. Good housekeeping encompasses both pride and safety. Purposely failing to observe safety procedures can endanger you and your coworkers. You are paid to follow company safety policies, not create your own rules. Being casual about safety can lead to a casualty. Personal worries combined with work are hazardous. Dropping your mental guard can distract you from safe procedures. Distractions from coworkers are also dangerous. Do not become a statistic because you took your eyes off the machine just for a minute. Job Safety Analysis, or JSA, is an effective way to work safely and effectively. Being hasty or not thinking through the process can put you in harm's way. Remember to plan your work and then work your plan. Accidents are often caused by multiple factors, such as human error, equipment failure, improper design, environmental conditions, or their interaction. In the USA, accident deaths include 47,000 motor vehicle-related, 13,000 due to falls, and 7,000 due to poisoning yearly. The cost of workplace deaths and injuries is substantial, reaching $48 billion annually. Most frequent injuries include overexertion, impact accidents, falls, and bodily reactions to chemicals. Compression, motor vehicle accidents, and exposure to radiation or extreme temperatures are also common. Most frequent deaths are motor vehicle-related, falls, and electrical current incidents. According to DOSH 2021, the top reported occupational accident types include stepping on, striking against, or being struck by objects, including falling objects, followed by falls of persons. The most frequent occupational injuries reported by DOSH 2021 are other wounds, other and unspecified injuries, fractures, and sprains and strains. Before the 1900s, employers held minimal safety responsibility. Companies defended against accidents by claiming contributory negligence, negligence of fellow employees, or that the worker knowingly assumed the risks. The objectives of a safety program are to place safety next to production, evaluate corporate culture's impact on safety, identify effective program elements, develop improvement ideas, and strategize for support. The ergonomic program involves three main steps: identifying jobs at risk and associated hazards, analyzing work to evaluate risk, and troubleshooting to manage the risk effectively. Risk is defined as the likelihood of danger or mishap and its effects. Risk equals hazard times exposure, where a hazard is the source of danger, and exposure is the relationship of body weight to the danger. The hierarchy of hazard control, from best to last resort, includes elimination, substitution, isolation, engineering controls, administrative controls, and personal protective equipment. To make safety a top priority, remove subjectivity with objective tools. Make safety an enterprise value, compete for budget dollars, and shift from a reactive to a proactive approach for employee health and safety. Safety professionals need people-oriented management, business, and language skills. They must also have flexibility for change and improve technical skills to effectively implement safety initiatives. The shift from past to present business models moves from hierarchy to a flatter organization, capital equals power to knowledge equals power, national boundaries to a global marketplace, and individual tasks to team-focused tasks. The Heinrich accident model suggests accidents are a sequence of actions, like falling dominoes, and that the failure to create a safety culture leads to these inevitable accidents. The DuPont accident theory states that accidents are preventable when accountability for actions is assigned to a specific individual or group, thereby reducing losses and costs. Approaches to safety culture include the traditional approach of engineering, education, and enforcement, and the comprehensive approach which adds awareness, creating a safety culture, management, and behavior modification. To identify elements of a safety program, critique current precautions, and conduct a safety audit. This audit should check preventative measures against current OSHA safety recommendations. The Simmons method helps determine uninsured costs by calculating average incidents for dispensary cases, medical treatment, and lost time, then using these averages to determine uninsured costs. The experience mod factor compares actual losses to expected losses, where 1.00 is the average. This benchmark tool measures dollars, not claims, is based on a rolling 3 years, and is used to calculate insurance premiums. Elements of ergonomic programs include identifying risk factors, involving and training management and workers, collecting health evidence, implementation, evaluation, promoting worker recovery, and maintaining commitment and involvement. The video ends here. Let's look at an example of an ergonomic intervention in a manufacturing setting, focusing on the steps to identify and reduce risk. This image illustrates an intervention focusing on redesigning a workstation and using lift assists to minimize manual material handling and awkward postures for workers. Further steps in this manufacturing example include implementing adjustable fixtures and specialized tools to improve wrist and arm posture and reduce forceful exertions. NIOSH offers various checklists to aid in ergonomic risk assessment, including those for hazard identification, workstations, task analysis, and materials compensation related to occupational accident. Regarding occupational accident compensation, options often include ex gratia payments, the employment injury scheme for general workers and foreign workers, the invalidity scheme, and the self-employment. We will begin by exploring the Work Disaster Ex Gratia Scheme for Federal Public Service Officers, as detailed in Pekaliling Perbendaharaan Malaysia WP 6.3. This circular informs the improvement of the Ex Gratia Scheme. The Ex Gratia Scheme for Federal Public Service Officers was introduced in October 1994, following the exemption of public service officers from the Employee Social Security Act 1969. Improvements to the scheme on January 1, 2001, included amending the payment formula, increasing injury types, and recognizing service illness as a work disaster, comparable to the SOCSO's Occupational Disaster Scheme. Further improvements on July 1, 2015, increased the maximum salary limit from RM 2000.00 to RM 3000.00. The scheme's coverage was also extended to include travel for daily needs and participation in sports activities. Effective January 1, 2020, the scheme coverage was improved to include trade union members affected by a disaster while attending an official government program. Work Disaster Ex Gratia Scheme benefits are paid in bulk and/or monthly. The types of benefits depend on the category of disaster, ranging from small to total disability and death, resulting in various payment types. Monthly ex gratia payments to officers are for life. Ex gratia waris payments to heirs begin 1 day after the officer's death. Widows or widowers are paid for life, and children are paid until they reach 21 or complete their first degree, under certain conditions. Children who are mentally retarded or disabled and unable to support themselves are paid as long as they are unable to support themselves. Additionally, the mother and father of the officer receive lifetime payments. If an officer dies before payment is made, it is given to their heirs. If an heir dies before payment, the amount is divided equally among the surviving heirs. In case of a claim overlap, the Chief Secretary of the Treasury determines eligibility and payment distribution. Next, we review the Social Security protection schemes, including the Employees Social Security Act 1969, which covers employment injury and invalidity schemes. We also look at the Self-Employment Social Security Act 2017 and the Employment Insurance System. The Employment Injury Scheme protects employees against accidents or occupational diseases during employment. Coverage includes industrial and commuting accidents, provided there are no unauthorized interruptions or deviations in the journey. The scheme also covers accidents during emergencies at the workplace while assisting others. It includes occupational diseases resulting from employment, such as hearing loss from noise exposure or occupational asthma. Benefits under the Employment Injury Scheme include medical, temporary, and permanent disablement, and dependence benefits. Other benefits are constant attendance allowance, rehabilitation facilities, funeral, and education benefits. The invalidity scheme covers employees suffering from a permanent morbid condition that is either incurable, not likely to be cured, or prevents earning at least 1/3 of a customary salary. This scheme provides 24-hour coverage, regardless of employment relation. Benefits under the invalidity scheme include invalidity pension and grant, constant attendance allowance, survivor's pension, and funeral benefit. It also covers facilities for physical/vocational rehabilitation and dialysis, and an education benefit. The Employment Injury Scheme for foreign workers has been effective since January 1, 2019. Foreign workers, including expatriates, are eligible for EIS benefits, but benefits under the invalidity scheme will not be extended to them. Malaysian employers must register foreign workers for EIS benefits with SOCSO and make mandatory contributions. These contributions are 1.25% of the foreign worker's monthly wage, up to the insured wage ceiling of 4,000 Malaysian ringgit per month. The SOCSO changes were effective with the January 2019 payroll. Employers' first contributions for foreign workers were due on February 15, 2019, and on the 15th of each subsequent month. The decision to require EIS protection for all foreign workers is in line with the ILO Equality of Treatment Convention. These changes ensure all foreign workers in Malaysia receive the same EIS benefits as local employees. The employer contributions are mandatory until the foreign workers cease their employment in Malaysia. EIS benefits for foreign workers include medical, temporary and permanent disablement, constant attendance allowance, and dependence benefits. Rehabilitation benefits, repatriation costs up to 6,500 Malaysian ringgit, and funeral expenses are also covered. The Self-Employment Social Security Scheme was introduced to provide protection to the self-employed, starting with taxi, e-hailing, and bus drivers under the 2017 Act, effective from June 1, 2017. The scheme has been mandatory for self-employed taxi, e-hailing, and bus drivers since June 2017. Failure to register can result in a fine not exceeding Rm 10,000 or imprisonment for up to 2 years, or both. Self-employment injury means personal injury caused by an accident or occupational disease arising out of and in the course of self-employment activity, including work-related travel.